Good evening all, this is Tim with a few new features this week. The first is, as you may notice, I've borrowed a better video camera and can now take allegedly 4K pictures, so it should be nice and high resolution for you. What you're looking at the moment is the redesigned fixed ring, which consists of a main piece with a channel for the brass strap that will hold that in place, and then the bearings on which the moving ring at the base of the turret will travel. This was actually rather tricky to make for various reasons. Firstly, that the initial fixed ring, as you may remember, went very badly wrong, and I discovered that 3D printed channels for the bearings was literally a train wreck. They flew out sideways and it was just a dreadful mess. So if we just look at this turret over here, I zoom in, you can see the chamfered edge there on the moving ring of the turret, and I had to redesign the new fixed ring to conform with that channel, although not using the angled sections of the bearing surface, so it was somewhat tricky to make. The ring was printed in ABS plastic, so I had to warm the workshop and the work before I started hammering in about 150 small brass splined inserts, which are internally threaded, and that enabled me to screw down this top capping strip. You see there's 76 screws around the periphery and a similar number of bearings. And then on the underneath there's a thicker capping strip, rather less screws, and bigger bearings. These ones are 6mm as opposed to 3mm. I've tried it on the turret and it works well, so quite happy with that. So if I move on to turrets now, and you'll be able to see, I hope, much more detail with this new camera. So there's the, as I move around, there's the seat adjustment lever, the working clips of the ammunition, various mock electrical services, correct to scale, the ammunition in the chute, and the leather strap for getting in the turret, and then behind that, slightly to the left, is the cine camera mount. And if I move the guns, you'll see the linkage moving that controls the sight bar. So if I turn this turret around to the side now and zoom back out, so we've got here the spotlight, again various mock electrical services around the top of the arch, caudal brace stiffener is this large bit with perforations. The caudal brace itself is the silver piece that stands up, main structural component of the turret. And again, if I operate the guns, you'll see the linkage and the cam mechanism moving. The bullets have now gone into the chutes, and you can see the perforations in the chutes, which were added as an afterthought. You can just see them there, but which caused so much trouble. But not one of my better decisions. I'm pleased with the result now, but it was not one of my better decisions, because it ended up creating a ton of extra expense and effort. So both turrets are essentially finished now. There's or the internal parts anyway. So last few days I've been on the computer doing the CAD work for the cupola, and trying to address the issue of the wiring and the switches and whatnot needed for that, which is going to be a major job. The other area I've been doing a lot of drawing recently is for all the hydraulic lines, both flexible, such as the black ones that go to the sear releases on the guns, this one here, and standard metal hydraulic lines which don't move. I think I've got a reasonably cunning plan for producing those as composite of 3D printed and thin brass tubes and K&S metals. The basic strategy was to measure the imperial brass tubes that were closest to the real hydraulic lines at scale, and then produce solid tubes, if you will, so cylinders of 3D printed plastic that were the same diameter, external diameter, as those brass tubes. So hopefully when the brass tubes and 3D printing is married together, I'll end up with a believable looking hydraulic line that's relatively simple, cheap and easy to make. So that's that. You can see the control linkages, the actuators that go into the from the control handles that go into the caudal braces to eventually operate valves on the hydraulic stack, which of course makes things move. That's about it, I think, for now. So lots of progress. So still waiting on parts of the RAM, so I can't proceed with that. One of the fixed wings is done and works, so I'll now set in train the second one. It took me about a day to build the first, and then the cupola stuff and the wiring. It'd be nice to get the wiring out of the way because it's not a job I like, but it'd be good to see that done. Anyway, there you go. I hope you enjoyed the 4K film and a tour of the turrets, and I'll just pan out and show you the two turrets which are now coming on quite nicely. Well, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Regards, Tim.